next. Well, this body camera video footage has captured the nation's attention. It shows Volusia County deputies involved in a shootout with two children. The deputies say they were forced to fire when a 14-year-old girl pointed a shotgun at them. At last check, she was in critical condition. And joining us now to talk about this is Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Sheriff, great to see you this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
So, Sheriff, you said earlier this week, where have we gone wrong? We're talking about a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old firing on deputies. Let's start with your department, how they knew they were dealing with kids, and then the emotional toll of deputies not wanting to fire on them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody involved is a parent. Some of my deputies, their kids are 12, 14, 16 years old. So this was not easy. It all began on Tuesday afternoon at 5 p.m. when we received a call that a 12-year-old and 14-year-old had walked off campus of a group home. The 12-year-old is a severe diabetic, needs insulin every 4 hours. So the staff was worried that, there could be a medical emergency, so we need to find him. We come in contact with them a couple times. They flee from us. Eventually, we're flagged down and told that a young male and a young female just broke into a home. We get there, and my deputies do something I would never have done. They stand outside of the home and gather as much information as they can. I would have went right in. You have two juveniles broke into a home. And it was the greatest thing that they did. They were able to contact the owner. They discovered that nobody should be in that home. They discovered that there were 3 firearms, including an AK-47, 200 rounds of ammunition in the house. At that point, they backed out. They established a perimeter. They try to make contact with the juveniles. The juveniles do not respond. And within for 45 minutes, we took gunfire. At least a dozen shots were fired. That tree that you're showing right now where the sergeant who took cover was struck multiple times with gunfire. And we threw a cell phone in there. They still refused to talk. And then eventually, a little after 9, they got into the garage, the 12-year-old with the AK-47, the 14-year-old with the shotgun, and she leveled the shotgun and came out at us. And we opened fire, severely wounding her. I could not tell you how proud I am of the deputies and everything that they did to de-escalate this situation. 45 minutes we took gunfire.
Yeah, and seconds after we saw the video where they're then trying to save her life after she was shot. Sheriff, you mentioned they ran away from group home. There were warning signs with both of these individuals, and you've expressed frustration with the Department of Juvenile Justice. What needs to change here?
The Department of Juvenile Justice and the DCF need a complete gut job. Somebody needs to get in there on the ground level and listen to the men and women who do the work every day at DJJ and DCF, and they'll solve the problems. The Department of Juvenile Justice has lowered its standards when it comes to committing juveniles in the secure facility. DCF, what I'm learning as this investigation rolls out, doesn't exactly provide all the proper information to foster parents or people who are having foster care. And that's where the rubber meets the road. This 12-year-old, he should not be in a low-level group home. He needs intensive care, intensive treatment. And if he doesn't get it, look at what's going to happen.
I want to finish with this quickly. Florida United Methodist Children's Home putting a hold on their emergency shelter care program, but they also said they've been presented with escalated behaviors in recent years. I mean, is this a warning of what we're going to see with some of these younger children that we didn't see 10 years ago?
Well, the 12-year-old tells my detectives that they were going to roll, meaning the 12 and the 14-year-old, like GTA, Grand Theft Auto. So they're living in an alternate universe, these young folks. And if we don't catch them and do the right thing, we're putting round pegs into square holes. You can't be putting violent kids with violent tendencies into a home where most of the kids in there were sexually abused or have a substance abuse issue, because guess what's going to happen? The violent tendency ones are going to drag the other ones along with them, and you're going to end up with something as horrible as just occurred. And I don't know how you deal with it.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood, got to leave it there. Always appreciate you having you on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.